The diner was alive with clinking plates, the hiss of frying burgers, and the soft hum of laughter. But in a matter of seconds, the warmth shattered. Two men cornered a young woman near the counter, their words harsh, their presence threatening. People froze, eyes darting away, pretending not to notice. And then, at the quiet corner booth, a little girl tugged her father's sleeve. Her voice was barely above a whisper, yet it carried the weight of everything that was about to unfold. "Daddy, can we help her?" Daniel had been looking forward to this evening all week. As a single dad, his life wasn't easy. He worked long hours as a janitor at a local school, often coming home bone-tired. But Friday nights at the diner were his ritual with Emma, his 7-year-old daughter. To her, the diner was magic. Red vinyl booths, jukebox tunes, chocolate milkshakes, and the comfort of routine. To Daniel, it was his chance to stop, breathe, and remind Emma and himself that joy didn't have to cost much. He watched her scribble cartoons on the napkin with a crayon, her laughter bubbling over the hum of conversations around them. For a moment, the world outside, the bills, the late nights, the weight of doing it all alone faded. This was their bubble. But the bubble burst suddenly. A commotion by the counter silenced the diner. Daniel looked up and his chest tightened. Two men loomed over a young woman, their voices raised, their tone sharp, dripping with intimidation. She tried to back away, but the men blocked her path. Other customers turned their heads, burying their faces in their plates, praying someone else would do something. But no one moved. Daniel felt Emma tug gently at his sleeve. Her eyes were wide, her voice small but steady. "Daddy, can we help her?" Those words cut deeper than any shout from across the diner. He wasn't a fighter, not a hero, just a man trying to keep life stitched together for his daughter. His first instinct was to stay seated, to tell Emma that it wasn't their problem. But then he looked into her eyes that were watching, learning, recording every moment. What lesson would she take if he stayed silent? That courage belongs to someone else? That kindness is optional? That when faced with wrong, it's easier to turn away? He couldn't let that be her story. Daniel pushed his plate aside and rose slowly from the booth. Each step toward the men felt heavier than the last. His legs trembled, but his heart was steady. He knew this wasn't about strength, it was about showing Emma that doing the right thing matters, even when it's frightening. The entire diner watched in hushed silence as a tired janitor, led only by his daughter's question, chose to step into the storm. Daniel positioned himself between the woman and her tormentors. His voice wasn't loud, but it carried a calm authority. "That's enough. Leave her alone." The men sneered, leaning closer, testing his resolve. "And what are you going to do about it?" one spat. Daniel's hands shook slightly, but he didn't back down. He squared his shoulders and repeated, firmer this time, "She's not alone anymore. Now walk away." Behind him, Emma peeked from the booth, her tiny face etched with both fear and pride. That sight gave Daniel a strength he didn't know he had. The men glanced around and noticed every pair of eyes in the diner fixed on them. For a tense moment, it felt like a fight might erupt. But then something shifted. Whether it was Daniel's unflinching gaze, the innocence of a child watching, or the weight of their own shame, they cursed under their breath and stormed out the door. The diner exhaled as if the room itself had been holding its breath. The young woman's knees gave out and she whispered through tears, Why would you risk yourself for me?" Daniel managed a faint smile, his voice rough. The following afternoon, Daniel returned to the diner with Emma for their usual weekend lunch. He expected just another quiet meal. But when they walked in, the same woman was waiting for them at their booth. Only this time, she wasn't wearing an apron. She was dressed in quiet elegance, her posture carrying authority. Daniel blinked in confusion as she smiled warmly. "You don't know who I am, do you?" she asked. Daniel shook his head. She explained that she wasn't just a waitress, she was the diner's owner. Beyond that, she worked closely with a foundation that provided opportunities for children and families in need. Reaching into her bag, she placed a thick envelope on the table. Daniel hesitated, but she urged him to open it. Inside were documents, confirming a scholarship fund for Emma, her college education fully covered. Daniel's breath caught. For years he'd lain awake at night wondering how he would ever afford a future for his little girl. Now, in one envelope, that burden lifted. His hands trembled as he looked up at the woman, speechless. She smiled through tears of her own. You gave me safety when I had none. Let me give your daughter a future. Daniel sat frozen, the weight of it overwhelming. Emma, unaware of the full magnitude, hugged her father tightly and whispered, "See, Daddy? Helping really does change everything." In that moment, Daniel realized the true ripple of kindness. His small act of courage, born from a child's innocent request, had not only saved a stranger but secured his daughter's future. He had shown Emma that compassion is never wasted, that even the smallest voice can inspire the bravest choices. As they left the diner that day, Daniel held Emma's hand a little tighter. He knew she would carry this lesson for the rest of her life, that doing good isn't about strength or wealth. It's about choosing to stand up even when it's hard. Sometimes the smallest voices awaken the greatest courage. And when we choose kindness, it doesn't just change the moment, it changes lives and it changes futures.